Good evening, ladies, gentlemen, and those of us who are more creative. I am Deuce. And no, this is not going to be a nefarious because this is what I've been asked to do, and that is a tutorial, I guess, of a glam boy look because everyone liked my New Year's one, apparently. So they want a tutorial. It's not going to be the same look because I'm not going to do the same look that I did for Christmas for New Year. I want to say that I'm going out and partying and that, but it's a lie. I'm literally doing this to spend the new year with my parents and my sister and her well, is he a fiance or is he just, I don't know. I know they're engaged, I think. I don't know. I don't remember. It's been that long. And they're delightful children. If anyone wants to take me out next year for New Year, please save me. Please. Or even Christmas. In general. A place where I can get drunk, loud, and rude unapologetically. Please. Anyway. I mean, it's already nearly 2 minutes. I was originally going to start trying to do videos on, like, TikTok, which are like 10 minutes long at the longest. I know some people, like, put them into parts, but I don't know if I can bother to do that. So I'm probably still just going to do the thumbnail, a little bit of the clip, and then link it to my YouTube. Because I hate editing. Anyway, let's get started. I can't believe I'm doing the whole thing. As you can tell, I'm really not feeling it. I'd rather just go back to bed, to be honest with you, and it's like nearly 3 o'clock. I'm nocturnal. What can I say? Like, if you want a nocturnal human, you've got one in me. Okay, so the first step is I normally start with like a moisturiser and that, but I really like the, is it Cosrx? I can never say it right. The snail mucin one. I feel like it just, you know, I like it. I feel like it's a good dupe for hyaluronic acid, but also just gives you that bit more, which also makes it almost a bit like a moisturiser as well, I suppose. But yeah, I do that, and it has a bit of a tack to it, which is great for makeup as well. The next thing is just a eye cream, or well, this is actually an eye serum. I can, is it something at 114? Because to be honest, the markings have come off the packaging, so. And I personally think, like, my skincare routine is pretty intense, I'm not gonna lie. But when it comes to makeup, you don't want to put too much skincare under the makeup or it will fuck with it, basically. Trying to think of what's next. Okay, we're actually starting makeup. First, I'm going to make myself a hot drink. Okay, next step is obviously a prep mist. I mean, to be honest, I somewhat follow my drag routine, but with like less coverage products and things like that. Then the priming step. For God's sake, use very much the same priming sort of duo step that I do for drag, I guess. I don't know why my mind went then. As you can tell, I'm not with it. By the way, this is the Elf Power Grip one. It's actually the niacinamide one, which I regret buying because while it does the exact same as the green one, it stings your face like hell if you've shaved. But luckily, I clearly haven't shaved because I don't when it's not drag. Okay. And with the next step, I just put a bit of the poreless primer in the areas of big man pores, basically. I will say that what was I gonna say? Oh, for God's sake. Uh, I don't remember what I was gonna say. Oh well, that was it. I am using the products from the Cult Beauty Advent calendar because the next drag makeup I do, I'll be using those products. Um, but I'm not going to go through the calendar. I'm going to do that when I'm in drag and all that. To give like the review of the calendar, I'm just going to be using the products that I got. Well, some of them, because some of them I didn't want, but yeah, I'll go into that anyway. Next product. Oh my god, my face is bleeding again. You see, I don't even shave. I think I've caught like a spot or something. By the way, the smoothing effect's off if you're wondering why I look so rough. Okay, so the next step, I tend to use like a highlighter all over the face before going in with the skin tint or foundation or whatever. I really want to try like the Alf glow sticks. This is the closest I got to, but it's actually from the Jelly Pop collection. I don't know how well this is gonna go. But yeah, it's not. It doesn't have to be perfect because I'm going over with a skin tint, as I said. But it's just to give my skin that glow that I'm obsessed with when it comes to out of drag makeup. Don't get me wrong, I'm obsessed with it in drag makeup as well. But you know, you know what I mean. When it comes to drag, you need. I feel like my glow in drag is a very strategic kind of glow because it's actually like very matte based. It's all very like I want to almost call it like artificial glow because it's very powder highlight like placed glow. Does that make sense? Where when it's out of drag, I want it more skin like glow and just that. I don't even know how to put it because I wouldn't even say my glow, but glam, my natural glam is like a lit from within glow, but it's not like highlighter, blinging blush and things like that. I swear to God, my face is fucking bleeding again. I'm absolutely annoyed. You know what? Actually, that's worked pretty well. I'm pretty impressed with it. I didn't think it was gonna work very well, but okay. Next step. Okay, for the skin tint situation, the Huda Beauty Glowish will be my forever go-to. It's nearly empty, as you can tell, but it is expensive. So my dupe for when I'm poor is definitely the Alf Halo Glow. This is way too dark. I brought a too dark situation, but excuse me, light. Why did you do that? Anyway, but I can make it work. You just have to, go down your neck and everything. Which I'd rather not do, but I remember to get the light shade next time. But hopefully, I'll have the money for this one next time. This has lasted a hell of a long time, by the way. So let's go. I tend to use both because I really want to hurry up and finish this. So I'm just gonna use both, I guess. The noise of it. I'm so childish. This is dark and you're gonna freak out. But this is what I use for the Christmas glam and you all liked it. So look how dark that is. And you know what, like, even though it's a skin tint, it still has like coverage and they both do. Which is cool because sometimes to me skin tints are like I would say almost like a moisturizer but with the slightest bit of colour. Look how dark it is, but I did use it. I'm freaked out as well. I then took a bit of this, which is much closer to my skin colour by the way, and I, put it on as you put foundation and that on, I guess. And that's like the good thing about it because you can tell like it does like sheer out and that, so I can kind of understand the lack of shade range when it comes to the Halo Glow one because it does sheer out really well, so it's not as crazy. It just looks like I have been in the sun, which, believe me, I do not go out in the sun unless I have to, which is very, very rare. Another fact is that I tend to use like outer drag, where I use a lot of different like sponges and brushes out of drag. In drag, I don't when I'm just doing my boy glam because it's just, so for instance, this is the same sponge that I used for the highlighter, and I just find it um just blends everything in better, and like I don't want the rich pigment of, do you know what I mean? Like I want the formulas to mix well, where in drag my drag's really like sharp, and I want the pigment to it and all that. And obviously using a different tool each time means there's no residue of other products. It definitely looks like I've just been in the sun. But I mean, it worked last time, so it can work this time. So yeah, it does have the slightest bit of coverage, but it also is really, really light coverage because it's a tin, isn't it? So I also, by the way, I like, if you have like facial hair, I start from like the middle of my face, then I'll go up to my forehead, and then at the last bits I will go through the facial hair, because you don't want it to like cling to your facial hair and give it that weird effect that you're trying to cover it. Do you know what I mean? But it's not worthwhile. I think that, well, obviously, if you don't want your beard to be a showcase, you shave it. You shave. It's very easy. But if you want, like, hey, I've got a beard, I feel like just lightly going through it, because if you go straight in, it's just going to make it look really weird. And then, of course, if you miss it out, you're going to have a vast different patch. Do you know what I mean? Like, can you imagine this? If this had the colour of my actual skin instead of this tint, then I would have a light mark going all the way around there. Okay, I think I'm on to the next step. Thank God for me wearing a high top. Okay, so I do use a bit of concealer. This is the Alf Camo one. I personally want to look for a lighter one, but it's the only one I have at the moment for Boy Glam, and it works. So I'm not complaining, but I do think it's, you know what, I'm just going to do one side first. It is a bit intense for me for just glam, you know what I mean? Like, I very much follow like what I normally do, even for drag, and that's under the eye and that, I suppose, where everyone else does it. Oh, what? See, I'm so used to doing drag that I put it all over my eyelid as well, but oh well. And I'm using the same sponge because I feel like if it gets too bright, I can then buff it out with the side that has the skin tint on. I didn't really used to do highlighter for boy drag. Like, I would just put on the skin tint, set it, and then like I'd put on a bit of like lighter powder under my eye. But you know, you get older and you get tireder. I'm only 24, but at times I feel like I am 80. Hey, other side. It's kind of weird. Like, I think I look so busted without the smoothing effect, but once I've got a bit of makeup on, I'm like, you know, maybe my skin is more marked from like, you know, teenagehood and hormone replacement therapy. My skin's more marked than it is actually blemished, so that's why it looks quite smooth when I'm in drag and all that, even without a smoothing effect and in real life. I've had compliments on how smooth it is, and it's because my skin is quite smooth. The problem is that it's quite marked, so it doesn't always look like it would be smooth. That's in my mindset and probably in other people's mindsets, but it's definitely in mine. Yeah, I think I need to learn not to do two dots because I don't need two dots on this, clearly, when I'm just doing glam. Because that is way too much. Oops. You know, sometimes the drag just doesn't leave you. Nefarious is like, let me the fuck out. And I'm like, you have a pageant next week. You can come out then. I want my time to shine. God, look how bright it is. Come on, shut down for me. I didn't mean to do this that bright. Now I'm gonna have to go back into this side if I'm gonna have it this bright. What have they done? I also tend to like, I don't really put much more concealer on, as you can tell. I've gone insane. So for these areas, I just go in with the residue that's on it. I may have to go in on the forehead though. Okay. Maybe just a little bit, and I mean a little bit because this goes a long way. God, it's doing this makes me realise just how much makeup is on my face when I do drag. Maybe I should love my skin a bit more. It does actually quite well with how much abuse I put it through. That eye is a bit lighter, and I can't seem to shear it down a bit, but it's not as if I'm going out anywhere because I live in the most boring place in the world. And I don't have friends that will take me out whenever I want to go out, which would literally be all the time if I had the chance. Because I like to party and drink. What can I say? Okay, good enough. Next step. Okay, so I've learned from my last one, I don't really want to go in with loose powder and bake in that. So I'm going to try and go in with just setting powder and just set the under eye lightly. And I'm not even going to go crazy with it because I don't want to. And then I will set the rest of the face after I've done the next step. I just don't want this under eye to crease like hell. So that's why I'm setting that now. I don't know why, but I feel like doing it there as well. Maybe I should do the whole highlighting area, actually. So let's not pretend. Just lightly. I can't go too far up though, because otherwise it's going to screw the contour up. Okay, so the next product, I will be back. Okay, so normally, right now, I would go in with like a cream bronzer, but I don't have one, so I'm going to have to go in with a contour stick. But I don't really do heavy, like, contouring when boy drag, glam boy, or whatever. Oh, you see, I'm still in the mindset of doing drag right now. I mean, some people would class this as drag, but not for me. It doesn't have to be crazily pigmented. It's just to give almost like the who of it. And some might say they don't even see a difference, but I do. So that's all that matters. I swear to God, if my face is bleeding again. You know what, that's a better idea. Instead of drawing it on, I'm just gonna literally put it on the sponge and do it this way. So this would actually be more of a bronzing step. I don't know why. I go through my beard a bit. Maybe it's because my beard's still ever so patchy when it grows. Okay, good enough. Okay, so this is where I do swap the sponge because obviously it's got darker contour on it. For cream blush, I don't go as crazy as I do in drag, so I tend to go in with this Pixie cream blush because it's a lot sheerer than my crazy paint light one. I'm probably going to go into this one. As you can tell, I use this one a lot. But this palette's also easy to like manipulate, so if I do end up going too bright, I can just add another colour and it mixes really well. As you can tell, it's probably a bit too bright, or I then heavy-handed. Okay, so since it's a bit too bright for me, I will then go in with this one at the top. And you can tell which ones I use the most, can't you? I really need to get into using the other colours, otherwise this palette isn't going to get used. It also doesn't matter that much because even though it's pretty intense, I tend to go in with the Cody Airspun powder to like set the whole face, which means it dulls down a bit thanks to it. And I still, this is like the other sponge. This is also good for like sharing it out a bit. I'm gonna go and do the other side. Use a bit of the concealer side. Okay. Okay, so with that done, I will probably next time switch to doing the highlighter, blush, and then bronzer, just to see how it works. Next is the highlighter. I've done a doozy. This was from the calendar and I was meant to use this, not that. Oh well, that's out of the picture. I'll be doing this next week. The whole calendar thing, clearly. Oh well. So, what was I gonna do next? Highlighter. So I'd probably take that NYX contour stick again, wherever I put it. I can't believe I did that. I'm so annoyed. I was actually looking forward to it because I liked the little palette, but oh well, that's all gonna have to wait until next time. Trying to work out whether I should still do it. I'm gonna see what this looks like over it and see if I can tell like difference on that. So this is the Huda Beauty contour stick thing, and gosh, it looks bright. But it's also my kind of colour as well, both in and out of drag. Oh, actually, you know what? It shares down pretty well, meaning that it's definitely not a drag thing, but I may have found something for our drag. It's actually mixing into the other blush quite well, like it's turning it into a more of a peachy pink instead of a straight up rosy kind of pink, I guess. Oh. Do not fall. I'll be back. Okay. God, I need a new stand. It's on its last legs, it really is. It's got that glow to it. It's got like a... Yeah, it's got like a goldy kind of sparkle to it, which is pretty sick because you know I like gold, whether that's in drag or out of drag. Okay, so this wasn't the plan, but like I think it's going pretty well. I'm just gonna go in with that contour thing again and the highlighter side to just try and blend it in together. It's kind of weird because as much as my drag makeup is blended, but it's got like that. It's got almost like that Trixie Mattel look to it, where it looks as structured as it does blended. So this is difficult, like, because when it comes to like my drag glam, I don't want harsh edges. My boy glam look, whatever, I don't obviously want harsh edges ever. And it's trying to train myself into realizing I don't want those harsh edges. You know what I'm trying to say. But yeah, like when it goes on, it looks kind of scary, but it blends out really well. And it's almost more like it's got like that makeup skincare kind of thing to it, where it maybe I know what I mean, but you know how the Pixie blush palette, Pixie's known as more of a skincare brand, so their makeup doesn't tend to always be the most pigmented or like that. Even though Huda is obviously a makeup brand, this is almost giving that kind of product to it. Like it's concentrating on skin more than it is makeup and pigment and that, which works quite well for my out of dragness. Okay, I think I'm nearly done. And you know what? I'm glad that I gave it a go because I think it's gone quite well. And I don't say that often because I'm normally incredibly negative about stuff. But yeah, I like it. Next product. In fact, I really like it. I might look into other colours. Okay, so for the highlighting section, I'm going to use the other side of the NYX Wonder Stick. I have most definitely broke this at some point. So I'm going to have to be careful. Whoa, I forgot how gold it is. But if I remember rightly, it does sheer out quite well. I'm just going to use the blush sponge because I do kind of want it to all marry. I don't think that's going to work very well. So let's see if it works any different if I put it straight on the sponge. I mean, it's looking quite cute. I didn't know if it was going to clash with the colour of the blush, but it seems to be melting in quite well. Okay, I'm going to do the other side. Okay, so for the setting part, I don't go in with like a sponge because I feel like that's quite heavy duty, especially with this powder. Go to the Airspun one. So I go in with a powder brush and I literally just do that. Because I feel like, one, most people use a lighter highlighting shade anyway, but if your products do their job, you should still have that contrast between like your blush areas, your highlighting areas, your bronzing areas, where obviously in drag you really want that contrast, so you set like with lighter powder and stuff. God, you can tell this under eye was way brighter than the other. Oh well. I'll just go in with a bit more setting powder, press powder. So, oh god, I just got that all over my shirt. Oh well. So it's just like a light. This is light for me. It may not be for you, but I just do it like that because I don't really want the heavy setting, powdering, baking session that you do for dragging that. Okay, let's try and get this powder off my shirt. Okay, so because one area is way brighter on the under eye than the other, I'm going to take a pressed powder in a lighter shade and, you know, do what you do with pressed powder. And it also just brightens up that under eye. I might do it this side as well. It may be a mistake, but oh well. I might do a bit on the forehead. And down the nose for the contouring a bit. On the chin. I know it looks a nutty at the minute, but it won't when I start blending in like the bronzer and all that. I'd probably use a bit like I've been thinking about it, but you know the Huda Beauty glowing pressed powder, whatever it's called. I was thinking of trying to get one of those at some point because I bet that would look pretty cool, especially on like the forehead areas to give it that glow. This is just a slightly darker one in the darker areas. And it's all very lightly, like I'm not putting a lot of pressure on. Okay, so the next step would be the eyebrows, but first I still do the contouring of the nose because like it just helps me with the base of where my eyebrows go or whatever. Okay, using my NYX palette, I tend to go in with the lightest shade because I don't want a crazy nose contour. Wow, crazy by the turns of my drag one. So even this is all like very difficult for me because I am so heavy-handed that I actually probably find my glam look harder to do than my drag one because at least my drag one doesn't matter if I'm heavy-handed. I do kind of just follow like my drag nose though. Like what I do, I just don't go in as dark or as heavy-handed. A bit like that. This side is a bit darker, but oh well. And to help with my eyebrows, I still do this bit here. Because it doesn't really matter how much goes into my eyelid because the eye primer that I use cuts off all the shades and things like that. Oh, that will be on it. So, literally, quite lightly. And I tend to like round it off at the bottom as well. Okay. And then I highlight it a bit. And I will need to go and find a highlighter. Actually, highlighter. I nearly did it again. So this is the Natasha Denona Bronze and Highlighting Powder. This is obviously one that I got from the advent calendar. I mean, I've probably had like a couple of Natasha Denona products. One, they're really expensive, and two, I don't really see the point when I can get stuff that are just as good, and like a lot of people say it, just as good from a cheaper brand. However, packaging sick, and it looks like my kind of colour. The bronzer may be a bit light and a bit reddy for me, but the highlighter looks like it's going to be sick. Spritz my face a little bit. I'm taking the highlighter. I'm just gonna, where I normally do like a whole line thing for drag, I don't tend to do that for boy glam. I tend to do it right in the crook of the nose and right at the tip, like that. And I have to admit, I'm still pretty obnoxious about the nose highlight. Like, people are like, you don't have highlight there, you look like an alien, or whatever. But I'm like, I don't care. What's wrong with aliens? Might bring it down a little bit, like that. And this is quite bright and cool. So this may suit me for in drag and out of drag. Especially highlighter anyway. I need to stop. I really, really need to get a microphone at some point, but I'm poor. I am so soft spoken and so quiet and aloof sounding that I find it hard to talk loud. So you probably can't hear a word I'm saying, but it doesn't matter. You people asked for it, so I'm giving you it. This bit I dislike the most, the eyebrows. Doing them on camera, oh, I fucking hate it. So I literally do it all with eyeshadow, taking this shade, as you can tell, one of the most used shades there is in this palette of mine. This is the Beauty Bay Nude Matte, by the way. I literally carve out a shape, and I tend to follow my natural brow line because I can still see it, because my hair has such a blue hue to it that you can see the shape of my eyebrows, and like it and like even with my beard, like I color correct so much in drag because you can see the markings of where my facial hair is. This is a bit darker than usual because I must have used a brush that had a bit of black on it, but oh well. It doesn't really matter, I go in with black anyway. So it looks crazy and shit at the minute, but I then go in and like carve it out with concealer and all that. I am literally, I fucking hate doing eyebrows on camera. It's so bad. Anyway, so literally I then take the nose brush, and as I said, it doesn't matter if I get it on my eyelid, I try and marry it in. Even take a little bit of the eyebrow shade to try and get it not so red. It looks awful at the moment, but believe me, it tends to come together, hopefully. um, I'll then do the other side, and then I'll cut and shape. I'm not doing the other side on camera. Okay, so this is what we're going for. Um, this stage is always the most difficult. I fucking hate doing my eyebrows so much because it makes me question everything, the nose contour, all of that. But when I get onto the eyeshadow, it tends to bring everything together. This is the shape we're going for today. I can't say we're going to mimic it because I never get my eyebrows the same shape. So here we go. It actually makes me nervous. Okay, so first I do cut out the shape to try and get it similar. This may take a while. Okay, and also do not complain that I am quiet because that is going to be the case. God, this is going to be difficult. I'm going to have to cut off some of that tail, I think, because it's not that long. And I sort of stamp more than I do the glide. I just feel like I have more control over it. It's a bit thick at the front compared to the other side. Okay, I'm just gonna go in with the black, and then I'll sort it out afterwards, as I usually do. I might cut off a bit more of the tail because, once again, for some reason, it's also because I have vastly different eye shapes, so it's so difficult to try and get them even. I don't even know why I fucking try, to be honest with you, because I never do. Okay, I'm gonna leave it like that. And I take a lighter pressed powder and I set it because otherwise I have the threat of turning it black. And yes, I totally did just spit everywhere. Okay. So I do go in with the black. I've got black hair. Sorry about that. Anyway, so taking the black one. Someone's going for a bath. And I start about there because the end freaks me out. Even though I go in with the cutting and everything again. The cutting of the brow, that is. That sounded dark, didn't it? And I am all about that ombre brow. Like, so many people, like, I've had it before, like, you know, like the fake hairs and all that. I can't do it. I fucking hate it so much. Like, I don't know what it is, I just do not like it. I don't know if it's because it's either real hair or no hair, in my opinion. And I guess I just also like it when I get that ombre brow, when I really achieve it. This side's gone so much better than that side. I'm gonna have to sort this side out. But yeah, like, I don't know. It's very 2010-ish kind of places. Maybe not that late. Maybe a bit earlier, because I was only 10 or 11. But you know what I mean. It's not the eyebrow that many go with today, unless you're a drag queen. This side has gone way better than that side. I'm gonna have to try and fuck it up a little bit. And I do take an eyeshadow brush, by the way, to get that ombre effect. Someone is coming in my room again. Like, many would say it's very draggy to connect your nose contour to your eyebrows, and it is, but it's how I work. I could not do it otherwise. And I literally go in with the cutting out of it again. And it looks insane. I know that, you know that, we all know that. But for some reason, eyeshadow brings it all together. Well, it usually does anyway. It probably won't this time since I'm trying to do it on camera, but that's the way the cookie crumbles. Okay. This eyebrow is definitely higher up than this one. And to be honest with you, oh well. It's always like that. It's never oh wow. When I say oh wow, I am actually very annoyed. But I pretend that I'm not. trying to work out if I should cut more of that tail off. I think I should, or should I add a tail to this side more? It's such a difficult decision. I suppose I can draw it back on if I don't like it. Yeah, I'm gonna have to draw it back on. I already don't like it. Never ever do that, but I normally say it first. Oh well. It's gone too short now, hasn't it? Oh, for God's sake. I hate doing eyebrows so much. Remember that I'm doing this for you, because I did not ever want to do this. Try and make it a bit sharp at the top. Yeah, they're definitely not the same shape. I think it's a bit thicker actually. I may have to go in with more cutting of it. This is going to be a long video, and it's going to be a long video because of the eyebrow section. I already knew that, but it hurts to know it's come to reality. You know what, good enough, I don't give a shit. Okay, so for the contour bit, I don't, I normally take this one for my drag contour, really solid, harsh contour, and it's great for that. However, I don't want solid, hard contour. So I go in, obviously, with the next part again, the lightest one, and I go in with a fluffier face brush, probably more suited for bronzing, but I find it doesn't give me a really harsh contour because I don't want that. And I just softly go around the areas that I contour. Like that, basically. Very much moon shaped. Similar to what I do for drag as well. You'll find that a lot of what I do for my glam, I do for drag, but on a lot less harshness. By the way, ignore this. You're gonna just have to bear with it until I come to the eye section. I once again do it a bit through the beard because obviously my beard is patchy, so the areas. I may go in with a little bit of a dark one. I don't normally do that, but I'm feeling dangerous. And the good thing about having facial hair is that you can kind of follow it. Okay, time for the blush. By the way, for the cream blush, I would normally use this, which is the by Mitchell's blush brush, because it really makes it pigmented. But I use the sponges because I don't want it as pigmented. So this could be more pigmented with that brush. But for powder blush, I always go in with the Lunar Beauty blush Moon Prism palette, because these are like buildable blushes, where all the other ones for drag are like bang blush, what I want. This for my glam look is what I want. So I tend to go in with Twilight because it's literally probably my favourite out of it. I do like this one as well. I can never say it. Solely or something like that, but it's got that shimmer to it that I sometimes want and sometimes don't. I don't know. We'll see how I feel. And I pat it on. And as I said, it's quite a buildable kind of blush, which is exactly what I want when it comes to my glam looks. And I sort of like pat and swipe, because like many people say no, you just pat. Well, that's if you want a lot of pigment. I want to pat and then swipe to diffuse it a bit. And it's just, I absolutely love this palette. It's actually probably one of my favourite blush palettes, period. I wish Lunar Beauty was easier to get in Britain, because I would most definitely buy more of it. It was once on Beauty Bay, but it doesn't seem like he sells that, man who sells puts it on there that often anymore. I'm wondering if I want a bit of the shimmery one on top. I might go for it, just a little bit. So that's solely one that I pointed out. Just a little bit. That's quite pretty. I made a good decision. Okay. And then on to the bronzer. Okay, so using the other side of the Natasha Denona Bronze and Glow, this looks a bit light for me, I'm not gonna lie, and it's tiny. Ugh. I mean, I'm glad that it's split, but it's still very thin. I have a hatred for that because it's a very different formula, and if you get it mixed together, it could be messy. Um, okay, so when it comes to bronze, I love bronze ing, so I literally just put it wherever I want to put it. And I use bronze a lot of the time to like soften edges, so like around the contour and the blushing areas and the highlighting areas, because as you can tell I put more powder on and it is now very white under my eyes. But yeah, like I may have to go in with a darker one because this is quite light, but my brush is totally shedding. It's doable for, it's definitely not doable for drag, even though I'm gonna have to try it unfortunately. But it's doable for everyday glam. However, it is nerve-wracking, the whole tiny portion between it all. You see, I have to be careful, or I could end up looking muddy. But it's because I love bronzing so much. It's difficult to restrain myself because in drag I don't have to restrain myself. Well, at least in my eyes, anyway. Okay, I might actually leave it like that. I do tend to go in with a bit of shimmer. Like, I really want to at some point buy that, you know, the NARS bronzer that has that shimmer in it, because I feel like that will be something that I really like. However, at the moment, I go in with a matte bronzer and then I go in with the smallest bit of Jeffree Star Cosmetics Dark Horse highlighter just to give me that sun kiss glow. Ugh, tongue twister. And to be honest with you, but then again, now I think about it, also if I got like that Huda Beauty glowish palette that I was on about, that could also work, couldn't it? God, this top is actually too small for me, but I'm wearing high-waisted trousers, so, well, joggers, whatever. Anyway, okay, so the highlighting section. I always spray my face, so it's only fair to do that. And I need some more, desperately. I always get like a skincare like spray, but that doesn't fuck with makeup, and like just redos. And I do that throughout my drag one as well. I just feel like setting spray should be at the end because sometimes setting spray, I think, can almost mess with it because it's like setting spray is meant to be at the end or whatever. I just feel like a face mist does better. Whatever. Okay, so this, I feel like it'll be alright. I mean, it may be a little light, but I've used lighter. I have to admit, I don't normally use this brush because it puts like it's really good at putting like a lot on, like an intense shine. And as much as I love the glow, mine's more of a skin carey glow to it, and I tend to use a bigger brush that isn't as harsh wherever my bigger brush is. Okay, I may screw this up now that I've already done the other side, but oh well. A bit like that. Okay, that's really pretty. And it doesn't leave a white cast. That was just my biggest fear because it does have quite a light undertoney light thing, even though it's gold. So I was fearful I was going to leave a white cast. I may have to go back in with the Jeffree Star brush because it's now really bright where I put it. Okay, and I'm just going to try and diffuse it out with this one like I did. It's not as bright as the other side. Oh, I swear, one side of my face is always really bad compared to the other. Good enough. Next step. So the bit that we're waiting for to hopefully fully fix this is the eyeshadow palette that I got from the I was gonna say Cool Beauty calendar. I am gonna leave the highlighter out because I may have to dip into this because this has only got 4 eyeshadows. I don't know how I'm gonna do drag with this. However, these are cream eyeshadows. There is one matte and one glittery, shimmery one. I don't really work with cream eyeshadow, so this could go very bad. But I'm going to try my best. I really don't know how I'm going to do drag with it, but that's not now. That's later on. When I say later on, I mean like next week. So, I'm going to do an eye and then come back and do the other eye as I do when I do drag. Okay, so this is the eye I've come up with. It's very me, actually. Out of drag, I'm very nudie, very warm toned, all that. However, I will say my only problem with this, I actually quite like this palette. It's quite cute. My only fear with it is that it being cream, it like having cream eyeshadows, it may crease a lot quicker. But it's quite cute. I made a cute eye with it, and I'm actually kind of interested in how it's going to work with drag. I would never, ever, ever use cream eyeshadows for drag, but I kind of am interested in what it's going to look like. I might look into more of these. They're quite expensive. Like, I can't even say the brand's name, but I do think it's quite a cute quad. Anyway, let's show you how I did it. Um, so, taking the only matte shade I used, because it's the only one in the palette, I can't believe I just did that. First, I prime. Hopefully it won't affect it all that much. MAC paint pot. I literally, stamp it on. finished. And because that was the only matte shade and it's way too dark to set the lid, I just grabbed a bit of this bronzer and I just lightly dusted it over it. Okay. So with that done, I then took the only matte shade and planted it in my crease. And it doesn't really matter how smoothly I did this bit, it's more just a guide for myself. I'll take a little fluff in my eyebrow. Cool. Just going down like that. I then took the fluffier brush and I buffed it out. I have to admit, the matte one did take a while to work with. It is ever so slightly patchy in places, but it's not impossible to work with. It's actually working better on this eye than it was on the other one. Okay, and I literally, just like I do with drag, I literally buff the shade up into till it hits the brow bone, the brow, and I yeah, and I just feel like it has the whole nose situation as well. Obviously, I tend to use at least 2 matte shades in my eye look, but I can't because there's only one. So I'm just going to take this one right up, and I don't take it up like, I forgot to say that piece of fluff is back, because that bit's where I put the highlighter shade. Just going to buff it around here as well. I keep getting random bits of fluff and I have no idea where it's coming from. Okay, so something like that. And then I went straight in with the brightest creamy shade with my finger and I just planted it on, basically. Like, even though I don't use cream eyeshadows because I feel like, well, I am far more in drag than I am in glam like this. I might use cream shadows more for glam. I would never use them for drag, as I said. But I love the feeling of cream eyeshadows. And I then took like a little angle brush to get that cut that I want. And I don't really tend to cut the crease, like, you know, with concealer and all that, and get that proper sharpness. I don't tend to do that. For glam, I just tend to put it straight over it. So it's still like a cut crease, but I don't do it with like the whole cutting of it like I do for drag, and a lot of people just do it like that. I just feel like, one, takes too long, and two, I don't really need to, because most of my looks are nude. Like for glam, I love nude looks, nudes in general actually. Anyway, it's actually quite pretty. My issue is still though is that how badly it's gonna fucking crease. Because let's face the facts, if you don't set a cream, cream creases. You can also build it up quite well, but also what tends to be the case, creams in my opinion don't tend to have as much pigment as like powder based products. so they make a good base for things, but you're not going to get a proper shining pigment like thing. Which makes me think, I don't really know that much about this brand, but I remember looking it up and it was pretty expensive, the palette. It makes me think maybe it's an older person brand, like an older women brand, which is cool and fine. I'm just saying. I then took the darker cream shade and I did it with my little finger this time, and I put it on the outer crease. And it's almost easier. I find creams clearly easier to work with my fingers. And you know what? I'm going to use the same finger because apparently the size vastly different, as I've said 100 times before. It doesn't seem to want to work with a little finger. But yeah, I I think creams work better with your fingers, to be honest with you, than the brushes. I just used the brush to get that somewhat sharper edge. I'm just gonna continue doing it. I'm gonna have to use another finger. I just sort of sat and buffed it out like that, really. Because this cream is quite close to the matte shade, it buffed out really well into that matte shade. This is also my kind of colour story. I love warm, goldy-ish, bronzy tones. Okay, I think I may be done. Okay, with that done, I then took the shimmer shade here, which is actually like really pretty, and I put it on the centre at first, and then I buffed it out with a brush a bit. And while I built it up quite pigmented in the centre, I then took it ever so lightly into the cream because I wanted to try and set the cream a little bit to hopefully give it a bit more of a chance of not creasing. It's crazy. But you can still see obviously the colours of the cream and all that. It's not just the shimmer because I did it that lightly. But yeah, I really built it up in the centre part. I really, really like this shimmer. Okay. I'm gonna have to put a little bit more of the cream there. I don't think I've ever used my fingers so much in an eyeshadow look. But it's looking pretty sick, actually, if I do say so myself. Okay, next up, I need to go and wash my hands. For that, I did the bottom lash line, and since I've only got one matte, it consists of only one matte. And a bit like the crease, I use a flat brush like this to map it out. And then I take a fluffier brush to buff it out. And this is also where I blend it into the creamy shimmer at the very end as well. We'll have to go back in on the other side because for some reason it's much darker. I must have been heavier handed. go this far down, but oh well. Okay, so for the highlighting bit, I took a pencil brush and I used the, where the hell have I put it? I used the Natasha Denona highlight thing. I will be back. Okay, so spritzing the face. I did the inner corner. I did think about using the other shimmer, but I didn't really want to because I don't know, I just needed something else. And I take the inner corner like down into this bit, and I do it like for drag as well. And using this, I buff it. Happy New Year. Fireworks are going off, and the dog is losing its shit. The thing is, though, is that you won't care in a bit. It's only as they're being like, you know, when one goes off every now and then, and he'll lose his crap over it. But when they're all going off together, it's fine. It's very weird, like that. Okay. I then took it again. Oh my god. And mapped it out where I wanted it. I then took a fluffy brush and tried to, you know, smooth the transition of it. I love my dog, but he's such a weirdo. I will be back. I'm going to try and soothe my animal. Okay, so that's it for the eyeshadow. I then curled my eyelashes. Okay. So it's going to be a bit awkward. I have to admit, I'm not someone who sits here for hours doing this because I don't have the time. To be honest, I have fairly good eyelashes anyway. I don't really use, like, no, actually, that's a lie. I don't ever wear light lashes in glam makeup, like glam boy makeup. I just don't. I just don't. Maybe my eyes are just jaded. Oh my god. Maybe my eyes are just jaded from all the massive lashes for drag, but I just don't do it. Don't enjoy doing it. This is a mascara I got from the advent calendar. Never heard of the brand, never used it. It's a very cute component. I didn't find it all that crazy. It's meant to be volumizing. I would say it's more lengthening, and it does lengthen. It's not the most lengthening that I've ever worn, but it's alright. It wouldn't really be. I'd probably just use it for like for drag before I put on my massive lashes, because I prefer my Princess Essence one because it makes my eyelashes even longer and bigger, and to be honest, makes me look like I wear falsies without wearing falsies. But this one's okay, and I can deal with it tonight. It's definitely buildable as well. And yeah, I mean, I also like the component actually because I love brushes like this because it's easy to do the top and the bottom. This side is actually gone for some reason way better than the other side. Maybe I just have curlier lashes on the side. Which wouldn't surprise me. With, like, I don't genuinely believe anyone has more different shaped eyes than I have. And that is why lashes are a bitch. Because it really spots it. Like, you can really tell how different shaped my eyes are when I'm in drag. And my lashes on that, I'm like, I have to learn to try and put them in different areas to make them look better. But it's so difficult. Okay, bottom lashes. And I literally do as everyone does. Okay. Okay, so with the mascara done, I then took the matte, is it? Yeah, it was bamboo in the Morphe colour pencil, and I put on the nude eyeliner. I did think about doing black, but that's quite daring for me, so I might have to wait to do that. Damn it, I just got mascara everywhere. Probably should have done this first. Oops. Oh well. I'll sort it out. But yeah, I very rarely use black mascara, but a black eyeliner, but I might give it a go at some point because I definitely won't use it in drag because it's literally white eyeliner all the time in drag. But yeah, so I want to try and experiment with different coloured eyeliners out of drag. But at the minute it's mostly nude because I like nude. Yeah, like I used to always wear black eyeliner because I was a proper goth. But yeah, I mean you grow and you change, right? The thing is though, is that technically I am actually still quite gothic. Like I do like a lot of spooky things, but I'm just so like I don't know how to describe it, but I'm quite weird. You already knew that. But like if you went onto my Pinterest page, you would realize like I have so much weird shit on it. Like my dream house things. It's full of crap that's like to be honest, even I register that. It's quite hideous, some of it, but I like weird things. And things that like spark people's like, oh my god. I like it's just like that. Like if you look at my room, this wallpaper, I don't know what they call it. It's like a proper fad. It's a proper like fashiony kind of like set to wear. It's not to everyone's taste, and some can consider it ugly. I for some reason like things like that. And I mean, I suppose Gucci, the brand Gucci is a bit like it. Like you have some people who absolutely love it and literally just for the label, and you have some that hate it because it's not always all that great looking. But I have a weird obsession with weird stuff. But yeah, anyway, so that is the eyes, and we are on to the lips. Now you see, they said that you can use this as a lip product as well. So I'm gonna give it a go, and if I don't like it, I'm gonna just find a nude lip and do a nude lip. But let's give it a go. I think the eyes have gone alright. If you're thinking about like, eyeliner and all that, I very, 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 very rarely wear eyeliner out out of drag. Like I don't know, I feel like with the fact that I don't wear lashes out of drag, it it like closes off my eyelashes. So like if I put on eyeliner, you wouldn't see my top eyelashes as much. But also, one, I hate doing eyeliner, and I just haven't. I don't even know why I did it. For the first glam look that I've done in a long time, I put eyeliner on, and I was like, I remember why did I do that? I remembered why I didn't like doing it halfway through it, but I'd already put it on by then. So let's do the lip. One of the biggest things that I've learned that I need to do is get a darker concealer because this is way too bright for everyday glam. But I did it. Okay, so lip liner that I got from the Cool Beauty calendar is called the 1999 Precision Colour Pencil. I'm gathering 1999 is a brand, and it's a brownie kind of colour, which is perfect because I use brown lip liner the most. Whoa, that's pigmented and very dark. Let's see how this goes. I do. I like. So I had a piercing here, and it went straight through my lip. And like when I do my lips, I do this for drag and out of drag. I put the lip liner dead on where my piercings used to be to like try and mask the hole. And then, and to be honest with you, that's about the only overdrawing that I do. Besides this bit where you have your cupid's bow, I cut that out completely. This is very dark and very creamy. I don't go much further than that because believe it or not, there's certain parts of my body that sometimes still like trigger my dysphoria. So the lips was one of them. When I was really going through it, I hated the size of my lips. I thought they were too big and it made me too feminine and I didn't like it. Sometimes I still feel like it, so I don't always overdraw. Like I don't overdraw. Period. That's what I meant. I just tend the only overdrawing I do is cutting out the cupid's bow and hiding the hole that's there. Um, the other thing that would be like, believe it or not, even though I showcase it a lot and I've sort of grown fond with it, is my ass. My ass is something that I have always been thinking about. Like, there's some days that I dislike it a lot, and then there's some days that I'm very happy that I have it. It's a hate love relationship because obviously it still gives you that feminine edge, which sometimes I don't want. Other times I see that it's very much an asset. An asset. Okay, with that done, I then take a brush and buff it out ever so slightly because, believe it or not, it may not always look like it. I always have some sort of ombre lip. Okay, so I'm gonna attempt to use this. I'm a bit nervous because it didn't seem that pigmented. Wow, that's bright. Hopefully it pulls off as a nude. Oh god. So I'm just gonna do that and then buff it. Like, this will be fine for drag. Yeah, my issue with this as a lip is that it's not that pigmented. So you can see almost straight through it. I would probably use this more as a skincare thing, you know, like I would use it to like put on bare skin for a blush and probably and like bare lips because it would give you that lip tint. It's definitely not a full pigmented lip, especially with this lip liner. I'm gonna just try it. Yeah, I'm gonna have to get a different lip. Sorry. Actually, you know what? I've sat and like sort of blended it in with the lip liner and it's a lot darker of a colour than I would normally go for Glam. But I think I'm gonna leave it because it's not that bad. It is a lot darker though, and I'm a bit spooked by it, but I think it's done okay. I thought I was done, but I'm not. The next and last product is the Bare Minerals Lip Gloss Balm in Heart. I got two of these actually, but because I got it in the cohorted box as well. This may actually help lighten it up. You never know. I rarely wear lip gloss with makeup. I tend to wear it of drag, out of drag, out of makeup the most. Not as glossy because it's definitely more of a one of those once again lip one of those skincare makeupy kind of products. Is I would say it's more on the balm side than the gloss, but maybe that's just because I'm obsessed with a obnoxious, glittery, really glossy gloss. I'm just trying to put it ever so slightly over the lip line because the lip line is still quite dark. I'm still a bit spooked by it. I bet it would like be really cool, like this lip liner with a really like almost concealer like nude because I bet you could do like a really cool ombre lip with it. I can't wait to give that a go. But I think it goes quite well with the eye. It's a similar-ish colour. Okay, am I done? No, I'm not. The only last thing to do is give it a spray. And I always spray it with the Krylon Fix paint spray, and then I go out with the Beauty Bay one because there's no way I'm taking this out. It smells horrific, but it does its job. Okay, and I'm done. But I'm gonna do my hair and sign off, I guess. And I am back, and this is my New Year's look, apparently. You know, I've always wondered, like, this is me without like the smoothing effect on and everything. Off of TikTok, I literally just use a smoothing effect. But yeah, so this is it off, and that's it on. Oh. It just gives it that pillow look that I like. It doesn't make me look so tired. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh yeah, New Year's look. If I was actually going out, I'd be wearing a lot more jewellery. Rings, for starters. Shoes, for another start. Probably wouldn't be wearing this outfit, to be honest with you. But I'd probably be also on my way to being drunk. Which, I already have a drink, so I'm on my way. That has a lot of vodka in it. Just the way I like it. Anyway, people are going to think I have a drinking problem. I don't. I'm actually a very sensible drinker, and probably the best in my entire family. I just like alcohol. Anyway, so I'd also probably be wearing these. I'm obsessed with these lately. I brought them off of, I think it was actually Shein. But I'm obsessed with them because they're rhinestone glasses. How can I not be obsessed with them? I don't really know what else to say. Happy New Year, I guess. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.